Hi guys, it's so nice to see you again. I love connecting with everybody. It was so nice to hear hear everybody's response after the last video I sent out. Like I said, I promised you some real estate stories and I want to give you some more. So a few years ago, I've been investing in real estate for quite a few years, since 2007. We got started thanks to my good friend Lenny Bassnett, who was our realtor when we were looking for our own house. And I said, we should find a mortgage helper, like buy something where we can rent part of it out. And he's like, do you want a real estate investment course? And I was like, sure. So he lent me his real estate investment network DVDs. No, they were CDs, the CDs and the whole binder. And I listened to that and started into real estate years ago. And that was so much fun. So after a few years of that, I had on my bucket list to do a master's. And we moved down to southern Alberta, and I thought I can go to the U of L and do a master's because I was close enough. We were living in Bow Island, but it was close enough commute. So long story short, I looked at some different options, and then I ended up talking to Don Campbell, who ran the Real Estate Investment Network at the time, of which I was still a member. And I said, Don, if you could study something, with a thesis, because he's big into research. That guy researches day and night all the time. He loves it. And I said, if you had a thesis, what would you study? And he said, I would study the millennial generation because they're a huge generation and they're really going to impact the way that cities develop. And I was like, perfect. That sounds exciting. So that's what I did. So for a couple years, I started in 2015 and finished at the end of 2017. And I looked at this kind of worldwide phenomenon where young people are hanging out in downtown city centers for longer in their lives. So I looked at data and compared it to previous years, and it's kind of like a phenomenon in many, all the big Canadian cities over 1 million, and a lot of the cities over 1 million, like I think it was like 35 out of 50 of the American cities over 1 million. And then you see that in other countries as well. So we had this concentration of these young people concentrating in these downtown centers. And so I studied that and I learned about that. And I talked to people. What I did for my thesis is I talked to people in Calgary, did kind of a case study, and just did in-depth interviews. So I didn't do like a big, far-reaching survey. I just talked to a few people and kind of dive deep into why do you live where you live. And there were some interesting things, like there's people that live downtown because they love the nightlife and all that kind of stuff. And then there are still young people who live in concentrations out in the suburbs. So I looked at that a little bit as well and found out some of the differences between those different types of young people. At that time, I was looking, I think, from age like 25 to 35-year-olds. And yeah, it was lots of fun. And I found out in Calgary, side note, found out that people in Calgary love lake communities. It's like a big thing for them. I didn't know that. In Lethbridge, we have like dinky little storm ponds, but they're not quite lakes. But that's okay. Up in Calgary, I guess they like the lake communities. So that's good to know. But now with COVID, I have this whole new question that I want to investigate, because it's like, okay, people liked the downtown before, but now with COVID, like who wants to be locked up in a concrete box? Like my daughter had a sniffly nose a couple weeks ago, and she was on lockdown. She was like on house arrest, couldn't leave her house for a week. And like they had a tiny little yard. She couldn't come over to my house with my yard. So she was in this tiny little place and couldn't get out. And I just thought, who wants to be locked up in that? Like there's got to be like a mass exodus out of the cities into these smaller centers, especially surrounding towns that have invested in high-speed internet and that are close enough to commute, because so many people have figured out how to work from home. So I don't know. I'd love to hear your opinion on this. Let me know what you think. Do you want to move out of the city? Are you looking for a place with a bigger yard? What's more important to you when you are picking a place to live? And yeah, I mean, you guys, some of you saw my video from the farm back when COVID first hit, right? We were just like, forget being locked up on 0.15 of an acre or whatever my little lot is here. I'm going to the farm where there's like 800 acres plus and we can go where we want and no restrictions. So that's, yeah, and people are big into gardening too this year. And that's a big thing that I love. I'd love to, I'm a big gardener. I showed you my video, my gardener in one of my videos. I still have, goodness gracious, tons of kohlrabi, and I've still got zucchini left. I haven't figured out how to get rid of it all. So, yeah, I just think these are some trends that we'll see more in the future, and I'd love to hear what you guys think. So, talk to you soon.